Thank you. I am very happy to welcome you in Brussels, Minister Mahmood Qureshi. Thank you for coming. Warm welcome to this building of the European Union. Your visit is a very timely visit. We have a lot to discuss, both in our bilateral relations as well as with regard to Afghanistan and other regional developments which are concerning both of us. We will talk about our ongoing cooperation based on the implementation of the Strategic Engagement Plan and how we can enhance our joint work, especially on security issues. We will certainly also discuss human rights, as everything we meet, and related international conventions and legislations. These are integral part of our GSP Plus preferential trade regime, which is a key component of our bilateral relations. But certainly, Afghanistan will be very much at the center of our talk. I'm looking forward very much to discuss with you, Minister. The humanitarian situation is really dire. You know better than I because you are a close neighbor. And the country is on the brink of socioeconomic collapse, and we have to look at how we can avoid this collapse that would jeopardize all of us, and especially, and first of all, to the neighbor countries. Finally, we need to work together to avoid that this socioeconomic situation worsens any further, to support regional stability and guarantee the protection and respect of the Afghan people, their rights and dignity. So we are going to have a busy agenda, but once again, it's a pleasure to meet you here, Minister. Thank you for your visit.
Well, thank you, Mr. Borrell, High Representative, Vice President of the European Union. I am happy to be in Brussels for the 6th round of the strategic dialogue we have. The first in person since the strategic engagement plan, which we signed in 2019. And I'm happy to state that I was part of that process. I was here in Brussels to sign the agreement, and we met virtually to kickstart the dialogue, and today I'm here in Brussels to take it further. Of course, there's a lot to discuss, and we have a lot in common. We share democratic values. We believe in open societies, in a plural society, and EU has been, is, and will be an important trading partner. We have worked closely in the past and benefited mutually, and I'm sure with a close understanding we can create many win-win situations for both sides. Security is important, Afghanistan is important, and that region is very important, and I'm glad that you would like to talk about it because Afghanistan needs attention. Pakistan, being an immediate neighbor, we are playing our role in trying to sensitize the world on the dire situation in Afghanistan, the humanitarian crisis that needs to be averted, the economic collapse which can be catastrophic, how we can work collectively to overcome those challenges. Pakistan has worked with the neighbors, our immediate neighbors, and we will be happy to have you part of that process. And on the 19th of December, we are organizing an extraordinary session of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers on a one-point agenda, Afghanistan, and how to deal with the humanitarian crisis in the making. That's an important conference that Pakistan is organizing with other OIC countries. There are other important regional issues that we will be discussing. So there's a lot on the agenda. So thank you. Thank you for having me here in Brussels. I want to thank you for your invitation and for your hospitality. And I would want you to come and visit us in Pakistan. 2022 will be 60 years of our relationship, and that will be an important year for EU and Pakistan. So welcome to Islamabad.
Thank you, Minister. We will be very happy we could attend your invitation. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, sir. This is Imran Saqib from Hum TV. One issue of Afghan immigrants. It's what we are looking over here. There are almost 50,000 people since last 40 years of unrest in Afghanistan. They are only in Belgium, and many more in other countries on this side. Is there still, with the new change of government, there is some pressure on Pakistani border also for immigrants? And my short second question there, before there was a EU-Pak summit, it was in practice, 2 or 3 times it was happened. And is it also a part of your agenda to keep it continue, EU-Pak summit? Thank you.
Well, we've had 2 summits, one in 2009 and the other in 2010. And ever since then, there has never been a summit-level engagement. But yes, we have now this foreign minister level contact that's been revived, and we hoped to develop this further so that we can reach that summit level. On the issue of pressure on our border, fortunately not so far. We were expecting a new challenge. Fortunately, things are under control, but it depends on how the situation unfolds in Afghanistan. I think this is the right time to collectively stabilize things in Afghanistan. And if things are stabilized in Afghanistan, then there will be no pressure on our border or, towards, Brussels or other European capitals. And if we fail to address that issue, we will face the challenge immediately, but eventually the Europeans will not be able to insulate themselves from that exodus. So this is the right time to work collectively to avoid that situation.
Thank you. Khalid?
Khalid Hamid Farooqi from Geo Television News. Nice to see you after 2.5 years, FM Qureshi. My question is directed to you in particular. 3 of your cabinet colleagues have been accusing EU that it is funding in Pakistan anti-government conferences, particularly Broadcasting Minister Fawad Chaudhry and Human Rights Minister Dr. Mazari, particularly Netherlands and Germany, they accuse. Is it service to Pakistan to attack European Union in this manner? You have been no newcomer to, you have been 10 years engaged with EU, and you know how EU have been helping Pakistan, and they are well-wisher of you.
I get your question, sir.
Okay.
Can I respond?
And I just also, HRBP, I would like to direct the question. Pakistan have been advocating Taliban regime recognition for sake of stability in Afghanistan. But you always put forward your 5 benchmark. You should be knowing by now that Taliban not going to comply to your benchmark. Is there any possibility to we come to consensus between Pakistan and European Union? Thank you.
Let me respond to your question. First of all, we have not been attacking the EU, nor are we accusing the EU for helping organize a seminar. All we said was that in the seminar, there were certain individuals invited who were convicted by the highest court of the land, and that's not a usual practice. But the explanation we got from the different ambassadors that we engaged was that they had no idea of who all were coming and speaking. And that is understandable, and I think that matter was resolved.
High Representative on Afghanistan.
Yes, look, the 5 benchmark that the Foreign Affairs Ministers agreed in September, just after the fall of Kabul, was a way of calibrating our engagement with the Taliban government. When we say that we are going to engage more or less, depending on what? Depending on the way these 5 benchmarks are going to be fulfilled. And we knew from the beginning that they were not going to be fulfilled, all of them immediately. But this constitutes and will constitute our way of calibrating how much we engage with the Taliban. We will engage more according with the fulfillment of these conditions. If these conditions are not fulfilled, we'll engage less. Which doesn't mean that we are not going to support the Afghan people. Humanitarian assistance. And we are doing, and will continue doing, and increasingly. The President of the Commission announced 1 billion euros to support Afghan people through our humanitarian aid plus, which means that we are going to do something more than the pure humanitarian help. But without the condition of the Afghanistan government, the Taliban government, and it will depend on the way they evolve on these 5 axes of behavior in order to see how do we engage with them.
The federalism system, they say this is the main solution in Afghanistan. Are you going to support this idea? The people of Afghanistan want that. Because Pakistan is also a federal government and federal state. The people think that the solution is that to change the system. Are you going to support the idea of the people of Afghanistan? Both of you, thank you.
Madam, the immediate challenge is saving lives over there. The immediate challenge is saving lives. The children suffering. Almost 50% of Afghan population is endangered. You know, there could be food shortages over there. Over 3 million children could be suffering because of malnutrition. Obviously, issues of governance are important, the structures of government are important, but human lives are more important. And right now, our focus should be protecting human lives.
High Representative.
Thank you. I think I have to agree with the Minister. There are some priorities. The federal structure of our country is important, but today for us, in any case, it is an internal issue. For us, which is important is to support Afghan people, providing humanitarian assistance, bring them food, medicine, supporting the schools, supporting the hospitals, and later we'll see.
Thank you very much. This closes this doorstep.